You are now about to witness the awesome, crushing might of I got me! First time ever! Welcome, my friends! I blame the drink. I blame the drink. Round number 2, 7, 6. Knuckle up. UFC Fight Night 105, Bellator 172, and the awesome crushing might of being right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Eugene S. Robinson, with the S standing for I told you so. I'm not surprised. Stands for that too. I'm gonna keep the show clean. We don't wear blue today, Sunday, and the streets are clear. We're gonna cover Bellator 172. We're gonna cover UFC Fight Night 105. There'll be a fair amount of chortling, guffawing, self-congratulatory backpacking, back patting, and a breakdown of the show. Got my tote sheet, but not before Bob Riley from Stigmata sings a word that started all off an intro, all of nothing. Very well, brothers. I could not see so clear. Real good look at you. I'm taking a real good look at your face. Or being paid back in full, always nothing. All right. So for those of you who are following the tweet storm, and I know you get frustrated because you can't retweet my tweets because I got this shit locked up. I gotta have some, like I got 5,000 of y'all in the Facebook thing, and then I got the Facebook author page, and then I got the Oxbow page, and those of you who are crafty enough to get on the Mr. Sleep 3 Instagram page, you're there. But if you don't have anything on your Instagram page, I assume you're a spy, and I don't let you in. So you got to put some skin in the game. Some skin in the game. But God, I think much like Lewis, the Black Beast, I'm having a heart attack in the middle of the show. That would be, hey, that would get me an award, right? But that would be tragic and terrible. But well, at least my arm doesn't hurt. I don't smell toast. But here we are. I've got my tote sheet from the Care Don't Care preview. You can't really see it. Wherein, I mean, the only reason I do this in actual fact is to add a little frisson to being right and being able to wave it in front of Kid Nate's face like, oh, you suck and I am better. So that's the only. And anybody else who dares, like when Gilbert and Dominic were like, oh, we're gonna pick Brown. We just his strengths are so his strengths are nothing, baby. So anyway, we're gonna go backwards in time for those of you, because I'm assuming if you're here now, you were just watching the fight as well. I drove like a demon through the streets, took the breathalyzer. They have a breathalyzer. You like this in the bar where I watched it, O'Malley's Bar, according to Nick Cave's song. They have a breathalyzer machine, but it looks like a straw dispenser. If you hang out in bars, I'm guessing you see this. I've never seen it before. So let me get this straight. I'm supposed to take one of these public straws that have probably had semen poured down them and then put it to my lips and then blow it into this machine that's going to give me I guess I'm fine, Ossifer. And I'm going to go out and drive. Fortunately, I am too thrifty Make your vices virtues. I am too thrifty to waste my money on alcohol that I haven't already wasted my money on. You say Thrift E. That's my hip hop name. Thrift E. Thrift E. Also known as broke. But let's get right to this because I don't want the high to go away. All right, so let's see if I can get this angle so that the light doesn't. We start at the bottom, and you see this is Kid Nate's tragic side where he lists Travis Brown as a winner. And this is my side over here where I list Derek Lewis, the Black Beast, as the winner. Now, you're going to have to excuse my ignorance, and those of you who can tweet me should tweet me during the show. I watched it I went to a bar at like 2:30, trained, went to the bar, O'Malley's at 2:30, and sat my ass there until just now. And can I have another water? And then the wife showed up later and I bought her some French fries because you roll with Eugene. You roll hard. Those were some delicious ass French fries and cups of water. So I couldn't really demand a lot is what I'm saying. So they didn't turn the volume up for me because, you know, I'm essentially a bar leech who sat there for fucking 7 hours without paying. So, but I got to watch the fights, and for this, I'm happy. But I couldn't hear anything, so I don't know. I know you guys are pulling my leg. I said, "What is Brown? What is Derek Lewis saying after the fight?" I couldn't hear it because I was listening to Luther Vandross. They had it on the jukebox or whatever, and people said that he had the poop, which is very funny. He could have said it. I don't know. Text me if he really did. Tweet me if he really did say it, or you can text me if you got the number. But so I don't know what he said. I don't know what any of these guys said. And thank God I didn't have to hear Brian Stan because I do know what he said. Fart, 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 fart. I'm Brian Stan. Thank you. That message was approved by Brian Stan, incidentally. So Derek, I picked Derek Lewis for a couple of reasons, and I have not seen. Listen, I picked him for a couple of reasons, and I'm going to go through the reasons. 265 pounds. I don't know how often you've rolled with somebody who's 265 pounds, or I don't know if you've ever been 265 pounds. I not only have been 265 pounds, but I was, after minutes of starting the fight, had rolled with a guy who was 265 pounds, a blue belt. And I'm kind of giving it dude advice before, like, oh, you know, with your entry, keep your body low. I want to see your toe. I don't want to see your laces down because I'm going to bull rush you. I want you to do this and that. And you come in, come down the center. Don't be afraid to come down the center because I'm worried about my nuts. So you come ride that pipe right down the center, and then at the last second go to the side. So he does that under my sage tutelage. But now when he's got me pinned in side control, the dude starts punishing me. He's like, well, this is what you taught me. I go, yeah, keep going. Elbow in the throat. Yeah, keep going. Yeah. And then finally I say, nah, I'm going to kill you. He goes, well, I'm just doing what you said. Yeah, you did what I said, but you crossed the line. Because the guy was like putting all of his 265 pounds on me, not to advance a position, but to make me suffer, which is part of my game, forcing me to move, but I was moving. So it's like, you know, I got it. So having a 265 guy on top of you is not something that you want to run the risk of pulling some sort of jiu-jitsu move on. So I knew it would nullify any temptation that Brown would have to take him down. Yeah, you might get a low single, you might get an ankle pick, you might, which are essentially the same thing, you might somehow get behind him, take him down, trip. You might get all those things. But there's no guarantee once you get down to the ground that somebody that heavy can't be rolled. Because being 265, it's not like you're used to moving that body. It's not like some of you, if you just blew up and they gave you 265, you weren't ready. It's like when Mike Kogan was talking about Roy Nelson. He goes, you know, he's not fat. That's just the shape he's in. Dude is doing the road work, but that's just the shape he's in. It's genetics. All right, I got it. I got you. No, nature, not nurture. I got you. So without the ground game, what does Brown have? Well, he's got a reach, and he's got Ray Sifo in his corner, which I'm assuming means that he's been working his Muay Thai. Okay, so here we go. Lewis Winston covered his midsection several times during the round, but after the fight, he used off-color humor to downplay it. I just got to do a number 2, that's all. Okay, so he really did say that, so you guys weren't fucking around with me. All right, and then somebody also said Edmund Tarvardyan isn't here because Canada won't let him in. So Canada is not letting him in. That fine. So he really did say, I got a poo-poo. You know, right now there's a guy at WME going, how do I that? You know, and you don't believe that there's WME magic? Did you see the station breaks and they got, what is it, War Beast or Beastmaster, the Anderson Silver show? He's great. When he's in the cage, he's got a translator. And now he's got a Netflix TV show. I'm back. He's normal. So Travis Brown got Ray Sifo in the corner, and of course there's a stunning stand-up work of Edwin Tarvardyan, who couldn't get into Canada for undisclosed reasons. So I figured he's gonna keep it standing up, right? And his minor successes was that kind of Muay Thai push kick, which he snapped out there. And Lewis is playing it down, but if you're doubled over running across the ring, you either really got to poop or it's had some sort of an effect. And that kind of sloppy shit, even though he's now got like a 6-fight win streak in the heavyweights, that doesn't speak to, in my mind, Derek Luce's qualities as a fighter, because that was sloppy shit that will get you crumpled under Cain Velasquez, even as out of the game and near Lost Battalion as he is. But you could get away with an overmatched Travis Brown, who's swinging and missing as he chases you across the cage and then lets you stand up. I thought for sure he was going to run across the cage, and as he's doubled over like this, he's swinging and missing, and then just grab him behind the back of the head and push down. Right? Because you get a guy wedged into that corner who's that heavy, then you can start dropping these. It's Monday morning quarterbacking, damn near Monday morning quarterbacking for the country. It didn't happen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Therefore, it didn't happen. No. So he gets him, and then Travis Brown. I don't have to recount the whole fight for you. You saw it, but I'm recounting odd points. Decides to do the inexplicable Anderson Silva. Covers up, rope-a-doping it. I guess he thought he was, and I was like, how long before Derek Lewis figures out that if he hits on the side, he's essentially hitting a block, but then he's got to come down the center? Well, by the conclusion of that thought, Lewis had made the adjustment and was snapping that head back. And that's all you needed to get to make the level, the playing field, because to deliver a kick is a much more sophisticated operation. If you've thought about this, and I have, to deliver a kick is a much more sophisticated operation than delivering a punch. Why? Because I stand on my feet, right? So if I'm using my feet to deliver a punch, then I'm balancing on a foot. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't. No. The mechanics of it are a lot more complicated, right? So if you get a guy slightly unbalanced from a couple, and keep in mind, Derek Lewis's fists are not like your fists, are not even like my fist. Like Diamanda Gallas said, your band sucks, your voice sucks, and you have small hands. I actually do not have small hands, but it's like one of those guys who has to say that has him. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Yeah, great, Grant. I got small hands. So he hits you with a couple uppercuts. It's going to take you a little bit of time. In addition to that, having 265 pounds hang on you. So in other words, the one successful spot that you had was that, that Muay Thai kind of push kick to the midsection, which he didn't use it to push, but snapped it off. People can figure out if you've been doing it enough. I'm sure Ray Seifel had. You get your toes out there, you can actually dig like it's a spot right below the navel, and that shit fucking hurts, and it sticks with you. It's absolutely positively sticks with you, you know. But then he's taking the shots, you know, and at the point where he was taking the shots, at that point I started packing up my shit because I knew that we weren't too far from the end. Because as he's scrambling, why do you think that test that they do with cops with guns and knives is so tough? But have the guns, people go, you have a choice. You got a gun. I'll give you a simple breakdown. There are pictures and videos on YouTube. You have a gun, you have a knife. 2 cops as part of your training. The wise guy will always pick the gun, but the guy who loses the coin toss picks the knife. And they say, okay, on the count of 3, I want you to draw. And then the guy draws, and the guy with the gun always loses. Why? Because the second the guy who has a knife has his hand on the knife, he's ready to go and he's running toward you, and your mind is trying to calculate fast enough. I gotta get the gun, I gotta cock the gun, I gotta point the gun. It's like out of about 20 tests, only 1 time maybe did the guy with the gun get it off because he's now functioning under duress. So now you got a Travis Brown who's been rocked a little bit, who's now trying to deliver a relatively sophisticated Muay Thai, pushing through the midsection because he knows it worked. And you got Derek Lewis kind of canting his body to the left, to the right. Are you putting his hands down? I mean, that was, I thought, stupid, but geniusly stupid. Putting his hands down to cover the stomach, which will get you knocked out. But to really deliver a punch that would knock you out, you got to keep your feet on the ground. So then you have the kick. So it's like the Three Stooges thing. And once he had him on the ground, I was like, man, they're 2 minutes and 42 seconds up or whatever it was. But my favorite part, and the reason why those who were in the Twitter feed got it, was like, man, I wasn't laughing so much at Travis Brown, you know, the alleged wife beater, got knocked out, even though that amused me. In general, I have feelings of sorrow for Travis Brown. Travis Brown denies that he beat up his wife and says it's part of a complicated divorce thing. Don't know. I wasn't there. Don't know. So, but you know, like Bud and LA Confidential, you got to understand that I take a dim view of it. I don't like it. Don't countenance it. And so I wasn't laughing so much that he got knocked down. I was laughing at Yamasaki being Yamasaki. And of course, Popeye is here because I haven't had enough of his ass today. His ass is literally right here. And I can't turn the computer around because I got a special rig now. So actually, it would be amusing to do it, but I can't. Trust me, his ass is right here. So Yamasaki is like doing the Yamasaki thing. 1, 2, 3. And the wife says, hey, is he supposed to? I think it's 3, the unofficial rule, or maybe the semi-official rule, are 3 unanswered blows, right? That's what I'm remembering. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then finally, the last 2 delivered to the unconscious head of Travis Brown. The only reason that head was moving between 10 and 11 was because it bounced. They come for commercial, and then Lewis, who we thought was gonna have a heart attack, is on the mat. He gets up, you know, from the stomach thing. I don't know what he said at that point. I couldn't hear. I mean, it's a mixed bag. I'd like to hear what the fighters say, but I absolutely do not miss Brian Stan. Somebody said, who is this guy? And I said, this guy, he's and I'm Brian Stan. That's who he is. People at the bar. They're not fans of Knuckle Up. What can you say? And now Popeye's sniffing my feet. So what does this mean? What does this mean now that we're here? Well, it means that Travis Brown has lost 3 of his fights. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. That's what that means. 3-fight losing a streak. And he's with Edmund Tarabarian, who single-handedly destroyed his baby doll's career. I don't know which way the road turns. Diana Ross might. I don't know, but the options left are few. But the calculus is different with WME. The calculus is different. If it was just, you know, and I get the sense and how this is playing out, you know, I get the sense that booking fights goes like this. And this is why they keep the bald one around, but you got to understand, this shit is ego-driven, right? Part of his lockout is that he can't just take his $300 million and $400 million or whatever he got as part of his portion of the deal and run off. He's locked in for sure. He's not an indentured servant. I'm talking about the bald one. He's not an indentured servant, but he's got to be around to ensure the healthy functioning of the club, of the purchase, of the company. So at some point, they get rid of a Joe Silva. Sean Shelby is still there. You got to understand, this is like porn to a certain degree. There's nobody who's in porn who wouldn't rather, who's not looking at somebody like Sasha Grey and going, fuck, you know, I could make the jump. I mean, it would be nice to I didn't get to that. I didn't get to that. Bill Davis, dude. I didn't say he's lost battalion. Just wait. So doing it's to a certain degree like porn, because honestly, I don't know that people who are working in the fight game feel like it's reputable enough to want to continue doing it long term. I think it's a hard grind. It's sort of thankless. I'm not sure how much money they're really making, and the pressure is on. And everybody, look, if I write a crappy article, people don't read it. It's not like they read it and fucking tweet about it. Did you see that shit Eugene wrote? You know, they don't do it, right? So it's sort of a thing. So I get the sense that people are looking to get out. You know, if you don't have a payday, you're looking to convert. You know, you can sell your stock options on the private market. So when it comes to booking the fights, you know, you probably got some guy who they brought in from WME, like the guy in the office who was most jazzed about the purchase, who's sitting around trying to do some fight picking. Hey, Sean, what do you think? What do you think? We'll mix up. What about we put Ponzinibbio and Norton Taleb? Does that? You know, and Sean Shelby, if he's playing it right, is sitting around going, interesting, very interesting. And that allows him in a very Hollywood way, if the fight's a success, he's in like Flint. If the fight's a failure, you know that the mitigating language of that kind of Hollywood, that non-answer of interesting, doesn't let you off the hook. So it's not like you want the guys at WME to fail, but it's like, I'm not getting anything by helping you succeed. You know, you fired all my friends. I'm here drawing a paycheck. I could be next, you know, and this shit is capricious anyway. How do I know? If I book Ponzinibbio and Norton Taleb, it could be a great fight. It could be a shitty fight. Am I going to get the credit? No, because I'm doing it with you. And you're the new guy, and you're going to get the credit. Am I going to get the blame if it goes badly? Yes, because I'm the old guy, and I should have known better. There's no win for me. So in a lot of these fight bookings, I'm getting the sense that the WME is like, hey, you guys, hey, bald one, what do you think? I don't know. I think that maybe, I don't know, Carlos Esparza and Randa Marcos. How's that? And you trying to put your finger in the wind and figure out what's going on. But in that, they've got to work with what they have. And what they have is an innate sense of marketplace. And I'm not talking about the fight marketplace. I'm talking about the entertainment marketplace. So, in regards to Travis Brown, what happens to Travis Brown now? I don't know what Travis Brown's Q rating is, but there are a lot of roads for Travis Brown, because if you were a junior agent at WME, and you wanted to inroad, say, a savvy player, wanted to inroad to a Ronda, and you thought there was a possibility of some play there, you might work this guy. In other words, there might be a multitude of non-fight reasons to keep this guy around. Believe me, Travis Brown knows that you lose 3 fights in a row, you know exactly where the fuck you are. Therefore, Travis Brown is not, what his ranking was, what, 9 or 10 going into this fight? But Travis Brown is not seeing Travis Brown fight for that belt anytime soon. You got to know that. Not 3 fights in a row. All indications are that you're going down, out, and possibly away. Travis Brown is not in a position to demand anything. So the question is, he's not in a position to demand anything, makes him ultimately pliable. Do we keep him because there's an upside? He's not even lit, not even lost in the supermarket, which is like a guy they just can't put him on the shelf. We just can't figure out how to market him. He's not that. He is Major Tom. Just like one of the guys in the 375 fighter roster who just, listen, you know, I'm still in the top 15. Maybe you can bring me. And now he has changed as a fighter. To quote Coach Dream Crusher Leopoldo Serral, the things that get broken when you lose sometimes are never fixed. Do you think this guy's going to go into his next fight, if that ever happens? If you think, because I don't know what he's charging, if you think he's going to go into his next fight thinking of anything other than, fuck, if I lose this, I'm 4 down. Jesus Christ, if I lose this, I'm 4 down. What does that mean? I'm 4 down. Man, can I be, oh God, I'm 4 down. I'm 4 down. Who needs that? And if you don't think that shit is destabilizing, you're fucking crazy. I went out with this woman who was significantly younger than me once, right? Then we broke up because I wasn't acting right. and she started going out, and she was like, well, you know, Eugene was okay. And she went out with a couple guys after me, but one of the guys they were age consistent, but one of the guys was like another older guy, and the specter of me sort of fucked with his head, like, you know, you need some martial artists, so he's like, man, I gotta show out. I gotta show out. So he takes her to the beach at Santa Cruz. You know, he's yeah, you know, I've been boogie boarding, you know, I'm a champion. Like, yeah, they're competitions, but I'm not the kind of guy who competes, you know. But you come on out, I'll run you through the paces and we'll ease you into it, you know. So dude takes her out to this place, like Santa Cruz. You know, the ocean can be fucking rough and unforgiving. And so he goes, and it's like go up this promontory, and he's like trying to impress her, and he jumps in the water, and the wave literally lifts him up with the boogie board. It's like, and pushes him up on the fucking beach like a broken mess of a man. He's limping, holding his back, and the board is all fucking frayed. And dude is like, she has to help him to the car. And you know, she told me this. I wasn't there. She said, you know, I know that this shouldn't change how I view him as a man, but it did. It had a destabilizing influence on the fucking relationship. That's why, you know, if I'm competing, you know, my wife comes to watch me compete because she loves me. But if you don't think that's in my head, man, I lose this fight, I could end up fucking on the streets. as fuel to the fire. Yeah, you know. So Travis Brown has got the 4th fight, possible loss of the 4th fight, and he's got to go home. Now, you know, the couple that loses together stays together. That is a possibility. But right now, dude's Major Tom. Major Tom. Derek Lewis needs to work on a few things. But he's been one of those guys who's always needed to work on a few things. You know, and I'm not entirely sure that if you were to match him against Stipe, that it would be a wash. Stipe's not doing any complicated ground things, and nobody wants to go to a ground with a guy who's 265 the day of the weigh-in. How do you think he got to 265? You think after the weigh-in, after he makes weight, that dude's not going to go out somewhere to Hungry Hunter and put on about 10 or 15 pounds? Fuck. So upside Derek Lewis, downside Travis B. And the hand tattoos are creepy. Sorry. It's like the kids are trapped inside his body. Anyway, Hector Lombard. Now, if you're keeping track, Kid Nate and I both picked Hector Lombard. You can't really see the scribble. There you go. So Hector Lombard. I knew, you know, my dude, David Derby. David Do or Die Derby. He's a fighter. He's a boxer. He's a wrestler. Former porn star. He told me a story about punching a guy's eye out in a bar fight. And when he said he had to go to court, and he actually went to jail because of it. Because he said, you know, you should have stopped. And he go, look, yeah. And the judge or the attorney, the prosecuting attorney or the district attorney said, at what point did you know that Mr. Smith, whatever the guy's name was, who got his eye punched out, who was a state wrestling champion and had gone from bar to bar to start with people because he was a state wrestling champion and just ran into the wrong guy finally. And he said, asked David Derby on the stand, under oath, I'm guessing, at what point did you realize Mr. Smith was in trouble? He said, oh, and he said, I could have lied, but I told the truth. I said, when he got off his bar stool. When he got off his bar stool, he was in fucking trouble. When they went into that second round, Hector Lombard was in trouble. And I knew he was in trouble when halfway through that second round, Johnny, who is now gassed out of his fucking head, Johnny started dancing around. You know, they tell you that's like 101. You know, don't sit, you can sit in the stool or start the fight. I actually read that somewhere. Like Machiavelli's Rules of Order, or some fight coach was like, you know, between rounds, you want to see active. You know, you sit on the stool like, the guy's like, he was trying to break him. Not stupid. He's trying to break him. Do I think, let me establish right now, do I think Hendricks won that fight? I do not. I mean, really won it. Yes, the judges gave it to him. But the best part about, I mean, Lombard kid was fought enough, steady enough fucking deal. He's got all that muscle to feed. He should know this by now. But if he never has to get out of the first round, who cares? He'll survive. The best part about Hendricks fucking winning this is that you might think, oh, he had self-identified, I'm getting old, my time is up, I'm getting it. He was self-identifying, which prevented him from being lost battalionized. But his win has actually created an avenue to misty climbs for Johnny Hendricks because he's talking crazy now. Everybody knew that Lombard would gas. But it's not like you knocked dude out. It's not like you got close to knocking dude out or submitting him. The judges squinted one way or another and saw it, and they go, okay, well, a win's a win. I got that. But you are dangerously close to a wood pile if you're thinking that means you're back. And I didn't hear what he said in the post-fight presser because there was no sound on the TV I watched. But based on somebody else's tweets, this idea that you're back. It's like what is that thing? What is that thing that the religious lunatics call when they talk about oh my God, going into the great tribulation or Armageddon, where they snatch the bodies off the God, I used to know this. They snatch the bodies off it starts with an R. Come on, what is it? Oh God, where the souls of the righteous are sent up to heaven, and somebody will figure. You know what I'm talking about. So that he's when you get wood pile, when you get lost, it's that Revelation. No, not Revelation. The one before you get to Revelation, Rapture. The rapture. So it's like the rapture. That's how you get into the fight. He's now talking crazy. He's talking, I'm back. You're back? You're fucking back. What are you saying to me now? Somebody's here. And yeah, and Brian Stan, right. This is by far the best round of the fight for Johnny Hendricks. Fuck you. My thoughts exactly. He came back from behind the woodpile, if only for a brief moment. No, man. No, Bill. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't. He had self-identified out of the Lost Battalion by saying, "I'm old. My best days are behind me." He is now just been raptured in to the fucking, I'm not going to take this against him. Post-fight euphoria is one thing. I'm doing this show now, so I'm not watching the post-fight presser. I don't know if a saner, cooler heads have prevailed, and he's like, well, at this point now, I'll just take whatever you guys give me. That's realistic. This I'm back thing, no, it's not like, no. He was never in the misty climb of a woodpile somewhere off in the woods. That's not where he was. He had self-identified out. But now that he's talking crazy about being back, he's 100% wrong and has been raptured right to his own fucking woodpile. I'm not kidding you. This is maybe the first that a guy off of a win gets Lost Battalionized. What? You are not back. None of us are back. Anderson Silva, not back. Chris Weidman, who's doing back talk, not back. Luke, who's not talk. Luke Rockhold is not saying anything. He's been really quiet lately. You notice that? Super quiet. He's not doing any of the talk. I'm coming back. Nah, no. It's a little premature for anybody. So okay, the fight before, I did not care, and I hated those guys. I'm talking specifically about Elias. And you know what? I don't mind showboating if there's a boat. If you're showboating without the boat, it's just show, and that's a fucking drag. What are you trying to be hip? You're trying to be cool. You're trying to be sexy with the hair. It's like, I got the hair. I got the looks. That's from Peggy Sue Got Married, for those of you who don't know. I got the hair. I got the teeth. I got the eyes. Feed me. Charge me. Make her love me. Come on. Peggy Sue Got Married. Nicolas Cage before he sucked. So hold on. Where am I right now? So this guy with his hair, and I bet you somewhere on his Instagram he's got hashtag that shoe game or hashtag that hair game. I couldn't hear what the guy was saying, so I don't know. But prick it's a visual thing as well. So Elias Theodoro against Cesar Fischera. Cesar Fischera, what did he bring it? At the weigh-in, he brought him, it seems like a confection or a boutonniere. What the fuck was in that white box that he gave him? Again, I'm watching with the sound off. I don't know. I got a box around here that's supposed to let me use a set-top box. I just don't have the set to top it on. So he's being cute, and he's jumping around, and he's like doing these things, these moves, and he's trying to, and it's all shit. You forgot that you can't have a cake with just a cherry. That if you have a cherry with no cake, it's just a cherry. And that's completely contingent on whether you like cherries or not. Here's my cake. No, man, it's not a cake, it's a cherry. With icing on top. Okay, now it's a cherry with icing, but there's no fucking cake. And that you win, that you actually thought you won that. At least Cesar Fischera, that's I guess how they Ferreira we would say Fischera. At least he had the decency to disappear as quickly as possible. But you two guys suck, and I hate you. Sorry. Yeah, they're all warriors. They all deserve our respect. Yeah, you know what? No, they don't. No, they don't. Sorry, don't care. And now I aggressively don't care. It's like the fight was in Canada. You're Canadian. Bring. We won't see you again until the fight's in Canada again. Come on. So now you got good stories to tell at the bar. Sam Cecilia and Gavin Tucker, I hated them too. And I didn't pick them. I didn't care. I was ruthless. The next fight that I cared about on the card was Sarah McMahon and Gina Mazzana. Mazani. Oh, no, I didn't care on that one either. Sorry. But I knew McMahon would win because she's tough. I didn't know that she would win with a head and arm, sending her opponent out of the ring in 1 minute and 14 seconds with tears. They should put that via submission, arm triangle, choke / tears. Kid Nate did pick it, so then he's got one. So I've got one so far now. If you're paying attention, I got one right and one wrong. And Kid Nate has he's got 3 wrong. He picked Travis Brown. Travis Brown lost. He picked Lombard. Lombard lost. He picked Cesar Ferreira. Ferreira lost. And then he finally picked McMahon. So now Kid Nate is on the leaderboard. But I didn't pick the fight, so I'm not going to talk about it. We both picked Paul Felder. Paul Felder was a don't care who moved to care. And if you're following the tweet, I was very pleased with myself because in my state, I said, yeah, Alessandro Ricci. There's no quitting that guy. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, yes, there is. No quitting him. There was more quit than you could handle. The fuck was that guy doing? But Paul Felder, I like that he's just like he fights with his head's on fire. I don't know. He fights with a passion that's refreshing. And you see, if you're the overlords of WME, you see that and you're starting to think, that's nice. You remember what they said about Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses when they first started? I remember what Rollins said about it. Not typically the band that you would expect a guy from Black Flag to like. I liked him right away, unapologetically. And he goes, yeah, he's the only one of those guys who when he sings, seems really angry. Right? I mean, was the guy from Poison? Oh, you cherry pie. Nah, fuck off. Steve Percy from Rat seemed legit. Of course, Ian Asbury can actually fight from the Cult. He was part of that Billy Idol crew for those of the people in the hair bands. But Felder actually seems like he's bringing it, the passion. So I was going to say, I was threatening him during the fight. Will you lose this fight? You'll lose this fight. You're back to don't care. You motherfucker, don't fuck up my count. And Felder won, so which I'm very happy. So now I didn't give a shit about the Ponzinibbio fight. Kid Nate did. And, of course, I'm sorry, I must be murdering his name. But I don't care because the fight sucked. It fucking sucked. I don't care. It sucked. It was sapping the life out of me. You know how I know? You know. You know how you know? When all of a sudden there's a burst of tweets from me during the fight. I'm not sending those during the good fights. If it's on Fox Sports 1, during the commercial break, I can send them. But so then, Kid Nate and I both picked Ronda Marcos. And we were right on that count as well. But yeah, I detect an underswelling of dissatisfaction with some of the picks. And I have, I'm not going to bullshit you. That's what, like the girlfriend who asked me, what's the difference between you and a scumbag? And I laughed then like I laugh now. And I said, simple. Real scumbags avoid being publicly identified as scumbags, making their attempts to conceal their scumbaggery scumbaggish. I am owning my scumbaggery. Therefore, I am the last honest man you will ever meet. It worked. It worked. So when we look at Revelation. So hold on. Well, let me see if I can find it. Look, honestly, honest to God, I'm going to tell you that I don't think that Ronda Marcos won that fight. I was in the midst of sending a text before she finished and said, can somebody remind her that she is actually in a fight? one of the other fighters was doing that showboating shit that I hated so much. Whether you're showboating and not delivering. I don't remember who it was. I meant to mention it. And they were also Canadian. It's like, what is it? Because you want this, it was not Elias Theodora. He did it. And then there was one other guy who was doing it, and he was also Canadian on the card. And it was just a drag, man. I don't want the cherry. Yeah, I'd want the cherry and the icing and the cake, but I just don't want to be promised cake and get a cherry. Then it's a cherry. It's not a cake. So Ronda, I didn't think did shit. I didn't, she was, doing this. Who was the other guy? God, it's gonna drive me crazy. He was actually kind of, Tucker. That fucking Tucker. Fuck. God, I hated that guy. I'm just gonna stop because I'm not gonna say anything really nice. So I thought she lost, and I was shocked when she won. But as it upped my win count, so let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 out of 4 picks, I got 3 right. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks, Kid Nate has got 3 right. So we got the same number right. 3 and 3. 3 and 3 so far. There were other fights on the card. Let's see if they were worth mentioning, because I gotta get to Bellator because I'm gonna say and do unkind things. Sorry, my friends at Bellator. So Marcos, I thought that Carlos Esparza actually schooled her. Glad that she got the win because it doesn't fuck with my count and the imaginary money. Ayman Zahabi, I didn't care about it. He said, even Faraz, brother, I don't give a shit. He's supremely confident. His confidence was the most appealing thing about him. And it was nice to see the brothers work together. I genuinely like that. But that fight was still nothing to get my ass off the stool. To stay dirty for 7 hours, not worth it. Jack Marshman, Thiago Santos, and these were all right. I think I got there. No, I saw Ryan James and Gerald Mearshot. Oh, man. That must have been when the bartender changed the channel from the fucking fight that I'm watching to a reality show about bartenders. How do you like that for fucking meta? How do you like that? I'm in a bar watching a fight, and the bartender changes the fight from the fight to a show about bartenders. Get the fuck out. And I said, I'm only sitting there for 7 hours drinking water, but come on. You got 4 fucking 6, 7 screens in here. You get the one right in front of me. You got to put on a show about bartending while you tend bar. Or maybe that was for my benefit. Like, hey, I'm not working this job for free. I got to eat off your tips. Whatever, man. Come on, please. So now let's go to, we're done with the UFC. Sorry. I got like 6 minutes left, so I got to get into Bellator 172. And all of my picks were right on Bellator 172, which means that all of Kid Nate's, we only disagreed, had separation in one of those fights. But it's real easy. I bet you I could go 100 for 100 for the next 3 Bellators. 100 for 100. Based on nothing but the fighter's name and where they're from. Eugene, are you saying there's collusion? I don't know, man. What do you say when moments before the headliner fucking Mitrione pulls out because he's got kidney stones? That means he went to take a piss, screaming, fell to his knees, passed out by the toilet because he tried to pass a kidney stone, couldn't continue the fight. Is that what happened? I don't know. When you cancel a fight like that, do you have to tell them why? Can you tell them why and back it up without proof? Does the commission demand proof? Is it proof coming from an accredited doctor or a friend of yours from the 7-Eleven? And yes, I know I haven't mentioned Nazis. Because I don't have time. I was going to get to Milos Yakanakanakanopoulos, the gay alt-right guy. But I don't have time to go into it now. Maybe I'll try to do it on Joe Harding. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. So Mitrione cancels. You pass the kidney stone, whatever. They're talking about it. How reckless can you get? How reckless can you get? How reckless can Fedor Emelianenko get with what was left in the waning years of his fucking career? This is a guy who every single one of the right moves he made in the early part of his career in regards to fighting has been matched hip and thigh by every single one of the bad moves he's made, business moves he's made with his career. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How much you get paid for that? Your argument is like, man, I got to eat. I want some control of my destiny and the rights, and I want M1 and Finkel Sheen. I want to be able to go, whatever, man. Whatever. You just, not only did you squander it and you left, but you came back and squandering continues. That is painful. It's like if you're Judas. Well, it's not like that. It's a tortured way to Judas. It's like, sell them out for some silver, and they say, well, actually, we're not going to hang them. We're just going to beat them up a bit and then send them out. And then you got to see Jesus every day after that at the market. Hey, Jesus. Hey, Judas. The guy goes away. He comes back. And, I'm leaving. I don't want this money thing, the UFC. I fight for. And you come back and just everything sucks. Nobody cares, nobody gives a shit, nobody. And I guarantee you, most of the people in San Jose wouldn't have been rooting for you. Half the fight in New York, totally different, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Outside of the amusement I get at Kogan's pictures, hanging out with some of the fighters, because I know how tall Kogan is, so now I can figure out how tall everybody else. Royce, unexpectedly tall. I know you see pictures of him, but unless you stood next to him, you're like, hey, he's actually probably like half than me. He's a little bit taller than me, maybe. I don't know. Seemed taller. I was standing on a mat when I saw him, so who knows? But anyway, so Mauricio Alonso, who I told you he was going to beat Koscheck, and he did. Where did he beat Koscheck? Is Koscheck Lost Battalion? He's not Lost Battalion. You think you have to catch Koscheck in his bathroom and nobody's even in the house. Nobody's in the house. I'm gonna get the belt. And I get the belt. When you get the belt, motherfucker, you're not getting shit. You're not getting anything. You get nothing. But publicly, if there's a chance that somebody will hear, he knows where he is. Josh Koscheck knows where he is. And that's finished. Finished. Even by Bellator standards, maybe finished. There's a big, you want to see him fight Paul Daly. Fine. Fine. What's his head like going into that fight? And he's complaining about, I'm losing money training for this fight. Guy's not so much a clubhouse cancer, man, but, that raw deal. Your kind always just. I told you, fucking Mauricio Alonso, no joke. Not in this case. It's going to be a big show for him. Fedor or no Fedor. Knocked him the fuck out. And Congo won. Pick that. And see, since we're coming to the last bit, Pitbull beat Josh Thompson. Now there's some controversy over the headbutt. I made a good, on the care, don't care. I talked about how I remember the young Josh Thompson. You realize when I first started doing what they call combat wrestling back then, it was like after fucking UFC 2. I was training with Paul Polar Varlins. The first person who taught me how to do an ankle lock was Paul Polar Varlins. And he had enough celebrity juice at that time to hang out with Dennis Rodman when Dennis Rodman was hanging out with Madonna. That's how long ago. AKA, I knew Javier Mendez from kickboxing at a Muay Thai place that we went to. We both trained Muay Thai together in the 80s. In the 80s. So, so I've known Josh Thompson for a long time. But he is one of those guys, wish me luck, Shamish. I got a raw deal. Hey, man, it kind of always does. You finally get back into the UFC and you fucking ruin it by saying, yeah, there's no difference between homosexuality and bestiality. Man. That was my imitation of his manager at that point, if he has a manager, or Javier. That's not gonna play well. And it didn't. He's like, hey, I'm just trying to spark discussion. Really? How about this? Put quotes around this and put this on your Facebook post. It's not so much that I hate Jews, says Milo. Well, no, if it's you take the credit for it. It's not so much that I hate Jews, but that I really love Hitler. Period, close quote. Oh, you gotta write that biz up, bro. You go, hey, I'm just trying to spark discussion. So what Josh Thompson is asking for specifically is a little air, a little sunlight, a little glimmer into maybe the headbutt, maybe that was causative in terms of me. Maybe I haven't even read the stories. I haven't read the stories, post facto explanations. I haven't touched them before doing this show. For the same reason that I don't read anything that Milo Papadopoulos says. You know, like Jake was telling me, I'm a free speech guy. I'm a free speech guy as well. Larry Wilmore's take was good. Leslie Jones is a nice person. You're not a nice person. Milo's attitude is, I'm not paid to be a nice person. Maybe I tried to be a nice person, didn't work out that well for me. But now I'm an asshole. I get paid to be an asshole. And then, right. I'm not a nice person. And so if you're not a nice person, you say bad things about a nice person, yes, that makes you an asshole. Fine, I'm a professional asshole. I got a First Amendment right to be so and do so. Good for you. Good for you. I want to feel sorry for the guy, but I can't really. I can't really, because you could have shined a light. I mean, okay, I understand political sympathies that are not the same as mine. But on this gay thing, I am completely inflexible. Completely inflexible. Absolutely. Do you realize? Think about your understanding of homosexuality. I'm going to do an article on this because the first word that I heard that denoted a gay person was pejorative. And for many of us, that would be sissy. And if it's not pejorative, it's certainly anti-woman. What's sissy mean? Somebody who's womanly. And then maybe the secondary word I heard was faggot, right? Again, aggressively pejorative. And then maybe, when you're 11, 12 years old, you hear homo, or maybe it's sissy, then homo, then faggot. Maybe homo's last because then you go from homo. What is it short for? Homosexual. Got it. There's not even any other ethnic group where your 1, 2, 3, and 4 steps are like that. It's not like the first time you saw a Spanish person where you were a kid that your parents said, "Oh, look, there's a Bina." They didn't do that. They didn't do that. Oh, son, look, there's a Nignot. As the British sometimes call African American, black folks. I guess they're not African Americans, they're in England. So, to pick on the gay people when, you got gay people on your team. I know this for a fact. You got gay people in Bellator. Come on. Well, which is where he ended up after the UFC gave him the boot. But so it's hard for me to feel sorry for him. So I didn't read anything about the head thing. Was Bellator worth it? Absolutely, positively not. Sorry. There were articles right before. I mean, this is like, wish me luck, Shamus, I got a raw deal. There were articles before this week about how in some mainstream publication, like a USA Today or something, how Bellator is not only giving the UFC a game run, but beyond the game run, is emerging as a credible alternative. Really? You spoke too soon. How do you feel about that now? I wish I could figure out the publication that published it. Anyway, I got friends who work there. I got friends who on the card who fought there. James Terry, Jeremy Murphy, you know, there are people that I know that I train with that are fighting on the card and they won because they're local guys, so they expect them to win. It doesn't take away from the win. They train hard. They won good, God love them. But the offering is tough, and this is when you start to think, and maybe Joe Silva wasn't such a bum. Anyway, show's done. I got to go take a shower. I trained, and I've been sitting in the stinking filth of other human beings for the last now 9 hours. You think when you get skin disease, this is why. So, this is Knuckle Up 276. I'm your host, Eugene S. Robinson. Maybe I shed some light for you on the inner doings of mixed martial arts that nobody else is talking about. Sorry I didn't get to the Nazi, more in depth of the Nazi thing, or the Milos thing, which I had a deeper take on, and I was naturally tied to the Nazi thing. Didn't get there, but on Tuesday night, maybe on Tuesday night, being that it's not Valentine's Day, we got If I Did It, and then there's a Care Don't Care preview coming up. Right now, I got no money to payday, so I'll be eating light for a remainder of February. So the shows this week on If I Did It and Care Don't Care could be kind of wane from my point of view, because you know, I got sunflower seeds in the house, and so how long can a man exist on sunflower seeds? We're about to find out. But anyway, the show's over. Thanks for listening. At Eugene, the at symbol Eugene S. Robinson on Twitter. Again, I gotta know who's in the party, so I gotta okay you. That's fine. I'll do it whether you have any posts or not. It's Instagram, Mr. Sleep 3 at Instagram. But if you don't have posts, I'm not gonna okay you. I've said it before. Facebook is all full up, but the author page is still there. So you got multiple ways to get a hold of me. And you know, as those of you who do, I'll go to Twitter. Anyway, the show's over. This is you at Knuckle Up 276. I'm your host, Eugene S. Robinson. Look what you made me do!